The history of Mecca. Did Mecca exist during Abraham's time? This is Daniel Amari from the Religion Research Institute. This work and study and episode is based on Dr. Rafat Amari's book, Islam in Light of History. In the previous episodes, we looked at the archaeology of Arabia, the archaeological records of all the nations and empires that mentioned Arabia. We looked at the historical records of geographers and historians from the 4th century BC to the 4th century AD. And we find that both history and archaeology are united in stating that Mecca did not exist in 2000 BC till the 4th century AD. There was no mention of Mecca. And this is very significant. But we have yet one more source of data to examine: the Bible. First of all, when we look at Mecca in the Bible, Hagar did not go to Mecca. She went to the wilderness of Paran and Sinai. This is important because the Islamic claim states that actually Hagar went to Mecca. She walked 1,000 miles from the land of Canaan to Mecca. But that contradicts the biblical records, because the Bible states she did not go to Mecca. She went to the wilderness of Paran and Sinai. Paran is located south of Canaan borders. The well that the Lord showed to Hagar was in Beersheba, in southern Canaan. She could not have been carrying water supply for 1,000-mile walk. The book of Genesis traces the origin of Arabian tribes from their beginnings to the time of Moses. Accurate information from tribal generations to the name of their ancestors. Moses got much of his information from ancient Egyptians. When we look at the Midianites, historians suppose that the tribes of Arabia were well known to the Midianites. Moses resided with the Midianites in Sinai. Yet Moses did not mention Mecca. The Midianites in the 6th century BC were more qualified to know about Arabian tribes of the 16th century BC than Ibn Ishaq in the 8th century AD. When we look at the genealogies of the Bible, in particular the genealogy of Ham and the tribes of Arabia, the book of Genesis show that Arabian tribes in southern and western Arabia were descendants of Cush, son of Ham. The original Cush tribe dwelt in Ethiopia. The fourth son of Cush is Rama, father of Sheba, the original tribe that inhabited Yemen. Sheba left Ethiopia to Yemen. This explains the similarities between the languages of Saba and Ethiopic languages. The name Rama was found in Yemeni inscriptions. Dedan, brother of Sheba, is not related to the northern tribe of Dedan. That tribe came from Keturah, Abraham's second wife. Dedan, the brother of Sheba, might have been a smaller tribe that integrated with the Cushites. Muhammad's origin is from Yemen, from Ham. When we look at the genealogy of Shem and the Arabian tribes, we find information about Joktan. Joktan is descendant of Shem, was the ancestor of many Arabian tribes that dwelt in the Syro-Mesopotamian desert and southern Edom. Later, some of these tribes moved toward the Persian Gulf, before others went south and east to southeastern Arabia. Nations like Hadramaut, Ophir, Jirah, Jurakun, Komi, Dikla, most probably Dilmun. Now we come to Abraham and Keturah. The tribes that came from Keturah first inhabited northern Arabia. They first lived in Edom. Tribes such as Midian, Dedan, the original languages of the Midianite was very close to Hebrew. And if we look at Sheba, the son of Keturah, seems to have lived in southern of Jordan. They attacked Job. Job lived in the land of Uz, Uz son of Nahor. Uz was located toward Mesopotamia. Job's book, dated between the 9th and the 6th century BC, because of the Chaldeans' raid. Trade with Yemen and the trade with Arabian tribes. Trading cities between Yemen and Mediterranean countries were documented in the Bible, yet no mention of Mecca. Trades with Arabian tribes and with Yemen were mentioned in 2nd Chronicles, Job, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. The conclusion. The Bible mentions all important tribes which dwelt in northern Arabia. It mentions Saba and Ma'in tribes of Yemen. The Bible mentions smaller tribes before they were known as nations, kingdoms or cities, Didan, Al-Qidar, Tayma, and Saba. Yet there is no mention of Mecca. And this is very interesting and very important. Why? Because if you look at the biblical records, you see that there is correspondence between the biblical records and between history and archaeology. It seems that archaeology and history and the Bible all in agreement with each other and about the history. Yet one significant agreement is that Mecca did not exist. Here is the true story of Mecca, outside of the Islamic claims. 4th century AD, Mecca was built by a Yemenite tribe called Khuza'a. As'ad Abu Karb was the builder of the temple of Kaaba, not Abraham, not Ishmael. And he built it in the 5th century AD. He was a pagan Yemenite leader. He was the first to build doors and lock it. He was the first to provide furnishing for it. He was the first to appoint priests. He was first to make religious laws that governed worship in Kaaba. Clearly, he's the one who built it. 5th century AD, Mecca was occupied by another Yemenite tribe called Khuza'a. Late 5th century AD, the black stone was brought to Mecca by Quraysh as their main deity representing the moon. Abd al-Muttalib, the grandfather of Muhammad, dug the well of Zamzam. What is the conclusion? The conclusion is that the history of Mecca has absolutely nothing to do with Abraham and Ishmael. It has nothing to do with the biblical records. But furthermore, and more importantly, the Islamic foundation has nothing to do with Abraham. And therefore, when we come to studying the religion of Islam, the concept of deity of Islam, the practices of Islam, these have nothing to do with Abraham and Ishmael. One has to look at real history to find the origin and the foundation of the Islamic religion, which is very absent and nothing to do with Abraham and Ishmael. This is Daniel Amari from the Religion Research Institute.